Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life, and where we find out what does food mean to you. Hey, this is Maria Liberati, and welcome to this week's segment. You know, May is National Strawberry Month. One of our guests today is Robert Schueller. He is a produce guru from Melissa's Produce, and he's going to share with us some really interesting facts about the strawberry and strawberries. Don't forget about my event on May 28th. It's the Strawberries and Cream event cook-along I will be doing on May 28th on Zoom. It's a virtual cooking event, so you can join us from wherever you are, and you can register for the Strawberries and Cream event on Eventbrite and also from my website. But go to eventbrite.com and look up the event and register. Again, it's on May 28th, and you do need to register, and it's from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know, it's also National Kitchen Remodeling Month, and who doesn't like to remodel their kitchen? I think we all like to just remodel, and we keep remodeling and doing little different things to our kitchen to always make it look fresh and new. So I invited Collin and Jimmy from Behind the Studs podcast, and wow, those guys are going to give us some great tips on remodeling your kitchen and some little tweaks that you can do that makes your kitchen look fresh and new without doing necessarily a great big renew. And my third guest is Cardie Mortimer, executive chef Cardie Mortimer, and he's going to tell us about his project. You know, Cardie is an executive chef, and he works with Emeril Lagasse, one of my favorite chefs from he was one of the original chefs from the Food Network. And Cardie is an executive chef, but he's now an author, and he's going to tell us about a special project that he's involved with to help the homeless and his cookbook. So stay tuned. Share any recipes with strawberries, or maybe you're going to do a kitchen remodel that Collin and Jimmy are going to talk about. Share, if you do any of that, take a picture, share it, hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, and you may win a copy of one of my books, an autographed copy of one of my books. And also stay tuned for other giveaways that we're going to be doing this month. And if you want more recipes or more tips on travel or menus, you can go to my website, marialiberati.com, but you can also find more recipes in my book series, my Gourmand World Award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. And it's made up of 3. So we have The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Holidays and Special Occasions, and The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Da Vinci Style. Each one of those books has recipes and menus. They're culinary memoirs, so they have stories along with recipes and menus and travel tips and tips on just a whole lot of things, wine pairing. And you can find those again at marialiberati.com, at artoflivingpremiummedia.com, and anywhere books are sold. I appreciate your support in supporting the book series. I have a good friend and executive chef, and wow, he's got so much in his background resume. Worked at the really famous restaurants, right, Cardie, all over the country, and even with Emeril Lagasse, right? And are you still with Emeril something?
I sure am on a day-to-day basis. I'm a member of his illustrious foundation, the Emeril Lagasse Foundation. And I am a teaching chef, and I couldn't do anything during the pandemic. Yes. But I will be heading down there in November to teach again.
Oh, that's wonderful. So Cardie Mortimer is here with me today, and he's also an author now. He's got a book. It's just so wonderful. It's called Keep on Cooking, and I think you actually
you gave me a copy of it, and I ended up using, was it the potato salad and coleslaw that you had in there that I loved? Because I love
Yes,
things for picnics. I love
yes,
those recipes. So I used those. I think that was actually last summer. Wow, this pandemic has made
yes.
time just like fly by. But I know that the book, and I love the book too, not only for all the recipes and the stories, but it's for a great cause.
Yes.
So Cardie, tell everybody what this the great cause it is for.
The cause is to eradicate homelessness in America. Every single dime of the cookbook that is sold, not 10 cents, not 20 cents, every dime that's sold for the cookbook goes to the National Coalition for the Homeless out of Washington, D.C., and they allocate the money from there. I wanted to do this out of the goodness of my heart. I did. I paid for the cookbook several years ago. I had a relationship with another company in Tennessee that didn't work out so well. And lo and behold, you know the old expression, Maria, when God closes one door, he opens up another.
Other, yes,
And
that's so
we
true.
were able to find a beautiful relationship with the National Homeless Coalition. And if you go to nationalhomeless.org, you can buy a copy of the cookbook and support homelessness.
Wow, and it's a great gift for, there's so many holidays coming up, and just birthdays, graduation, anything, or just as a special something special to buy for someone or for yourself. There's loads of recipes in there. You can have fun cooking with also, and especially now with picnic time, loads of great recipes also for outdoor eating and outdoor picnics and all
Yes.
kinds of occasions. I just love the book. I really do.
Maria, coming from you, that is just amazing. By the way, I wanted not to prolong anything, but I wanted to wish you and your mother a very, very happy Mother's Day.
Thank
I
you.
hope you had a very special day with your mommy
Yes,
and in Pennsylvania. And I
yes,
know how busy you are, but yesterday was your day,
yes,
or actually Sunday, excuse me.
yes.
And of all things, I made a 6-course dinner for my son and his wife and our new grandbaby.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and
Wow.
her name is Lucy Jameson Mortimer, and she's a beauty.
Yeah.
And she held my little hand yesterday. She's only a month old,
Uh-huh.
and it was, excuse me, on Sunday.
Yes.
And of all the things, all the recipes that I did were right from the cookbook.
Oh, wow, that's great. So tell us, why don't you tell us what courses did you make, the recipes?
I made my grilled marinated chicken. I marinated in buttermilk and spices and garlic for
Wow.
24 hours, and I grilled it.
Uh-huh.
And there was a fight over the last piece. Jamie's mother-in-law is living with him,
Uh-huh.
and she had bought. You're not going to believe this. She had bought a $200 piece of Wagyu beef. Now that's not in my cookbook,
Yeah.
but as the average person knows, Wagyu beef is very expensive.
Yes, yeah.
And I did it right in front of everybody. Of course, I set off every alarm in the house because of the smoke,
Yes.
but I made it medium rare, and it was so good it melted in our mouth.
Oh, wow.
But in the cookbook, what else did I make? I made my rice pilaf that's in the cookbook,
That's really good. Yes.
and I made lemon asparagus with garlic and Parmesan cheese, and that's in the cookbook.
Oh, that
Oh
sounds
my
really
goodness!
good.
And I did it al dente, which we know is
Yeah.
Italian, I believe, for to the
Yes.
tooth. You know,
Yes.
and it was a wonderful meal. It's a wonderful cookbook. It's a feel good cookbook because every recipe, or just about every recipe, talks about family. And Maria, I know how I know how into family you are because I have an announcement.
Yes.
And that announcement is that come this September, ladies and gentlemen, Maria Liberati, Chef Maria Liberati Extraordinaire, is coming out with a new cookbook called The Art of Italian Cooking Diaries. And I had the privilege and the honor of reading the transcript of the cookbook. And I'm not going to say her other cookbooks are are nothing but perfect. They are, but this one is by far and away the best one because it will make you cry. It will make you lick your chops. It will make you feel good as a person because it's all about the love that she had growing up in her world with her grandmother and her mother and her family and her trips to Italy and to Greece and to, of course, the United States and all of the recipes that she tried along the way. So it's a story that'll make you smile, and then you get to these recipes of some crazy things Maria has done with this cookbook. And I had the great privilege and the honor of writing a little paragraph that I think is going to appear on the back of the book.
Yes, it will. Yes,
from
yes.
Chef Cardie. But Maria, please tell us about that cookbook. I know the interview is about Chef Cardie today, but I can't get over your cookbook.
Well, Cardie, thank you so much for mentioning that. And as I mentioned when we started talking today off the recording, that you are the first and only person other than myself and the editors that were privileged to get a copy and a pre-publication copy. So I really value also your expert opinion and friendship as well. But yes, that was a book that, with this pandemic, we can't travel. And I really wasn't able to. So much of the stuff that I did, like in my other books, was when I was living and traveling back and forth to Italy and all around the world so frequently. So what we decided to do was, because my blog, I have close to 100,000 worldwide subscribers. So we decided to turn my blog into, because many of the features, the articles in my blog, I actually wrote as kind of like a diary when I was in Italy and other parts of the world, and I tied it to recipes. So we decided to release, select some blog articles and blog posts, and the ones that are more like a diary, and put it into a diary form. And that's what this first one, the Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diaries. This
Yes.
is called Seasons because we picked posts that were suitable
Yes.
each season for seasons of the year. So I think we might have 10 posts for each season and recipes, right, that go with that season, because I am planning to release more because my blog has been around since like 2006. So there's so many posts there. So we're playing around with them and putting them into more of like a diary book, so that, there are people that love to just read about cooking too, that don't necessarily always like to cook. They like to read about food. I'm always meeting a lot of people like that. They're like, well, when I'm on vacation or just have some off time, I like to read about food. And they always tell me they like it that I put stories
Yes.
in my books and not just recipes, which I know your book is too. So it's a good read for people that either, if you like to cook, well, there's recipes there. And if you like to just sit in and read and maybe do some armchair traveling, you can sit and just, read away. Like I said, it's a diary from a lot of my experiences and living in, different parts of the world and traveling to different parts of the world. So thanks so much for mentioning that. And yes, that will be coming out in September. Hopefully.
In September, right?
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. Cardie, so tell everybody where they can find your book again. I just want to make sure everybody knows.
Sure. And first of all, but just before I do, your recipes that are in your season book, right? You have the 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, and spring.
Yes.
And but when you get to the recipes, I don't want to say there are not traditional recipes that you write about, but the untraditional recipes you write about are so lip smacking and so good that I want to start cooking right now. It's just things you would never even dream of. And one of those, Maria, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Isn't it sardines and oranges?
Yes. Well, that's kind of based on an old, and when I say old recipe, I mean something that dates back to, like, you're talking about eels and oranges, I think. Eel and
Yes.
oranges, maybe? That dates back. When I say old, I mean like Leonardo da Vinci old. That actually, that recipe, grilled
Yes.
eels and oranges, comes from the Last Supper that he did, and it wasn't his recipe. It was a cookbook that was, it was actually one of the first cookbooks in the world. And Da Vinci loved food, and he actually loved to cook. So when he died, they found this cookbook in his study, and they figured out that the picture that he has on the Last Supper of the grilled eels and oranges, he put that because that was in his favorite cookbook. So yes, that is definitely, and that's actually a recipe that, if you spend like Christmas Eve in Italy or the winter holidays,
Yes.
a lot of people do grill eel on their, a lot of people there have fire. People in America too have fireplaces in their kitchen.
Sure.
In Italy, it's a little more typical, and they do grilled eel for the winter holidays. So yeah, that's definitely, and it's a great recipe to try too.
Maria, you want to see, I'm not Italian. I'm English and Irish. Mortimer is my last name. I'm
Yes.
the Mortimers of England,
Yes.
So Lynn, my wife, wants to take me over to England one day. I've never been there, but all my ancestry.
Yes.
But your recipes are just so delightful and so well told in your cookbook. Just incredible. And by the way, at Christmas time, Maria, Cardie becomes the Italian chef. Not that I cook Italian. I do not.
Right.
I do not cook Italian. However, can you imagine how many phone calls I get from my friends about how to cook their fish for the feast? The feast having fishes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
my phone never stops.
I can imagine, because people, I think seafood is one of the dishes I notice, like any seafood, people are kind of like always baffled. They don't know, they're
That's
not
right.
at this, right? So I believe that. I think that's probably the seafood is the one food that I think that, I mean, there's many different types of seafood. People
Yes.
are always baffled about and not sure how to do this or how to do it this way. So I believe that. So I'm sure you do get really busy with
The one thing I could tell your audience, and I know, Chef Maria, you're one of the top chefs in general, women chefs in the world, but I know what you would tell them, and that is, don't overcook your seafood.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Well, what I was just going to say is, it's probably because seafood is usually, exactly, it's a lot more delicate than some other types of meats. And exactly, that's the one thing. I think that's the one thing people tend to do. Of course, we were talking about grilled eel. Now that is a little tough, but
Yes.
that takes a long time to prepare and all that stuff to get it. So it's at an okay consistency. But you're absolutely right. I think that, if anything, a general comment would be, don't overcook seafood. Exactly. You should.
That's right.
Too long.
And by the way, I'm also announcing to your viewers that before the end of this year, whether or not I have to come down and get you and your mom, myself, which I would do, but I am cooking you a gourmet meal extraordinaire from Chef Cardie. It won't be Italian. I'm not going to try to do an Italian meal and make a fool of myself until I read your cookbook. But my dream is to cook for celebrity chef Maria Liberati and her mom.
Well, we'll definitely take you up on that, because I can tell you, sometimes I love to cook, but sometimes, it's nice to have somebody else do that, and somebody that's an expert like you. So I will definitely be taking you up on that.
And it will be seafood. And there's lots of seafood recipes in my book.
Oh, yeah.
And again, Maria, just to let people know, nationalhomeless.org.
Yes.
Or Amazon.com, and go to Keep On Cooking.
Keep on Cooking. Yes. Go to Keep On Cooking. And it's as I mentioned, it's great. The recipes are great, and I love the stories along with the recipes.
Yes, there's a lot of good stories.
Definitely, people are always trying to think of, well, what do I make? I don't want to just make the same old whatever, especially now that hopefully people will be doing a little bit more, outdoor, like little
Yes.
gatherings and picnics and things like that. So, Keep On Cooking has a lot of great recipes.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for all of your support through the years. We've known each other for well over a dozen years. If not
Definitely,
more.
yes.
And you've supported my career, and as you know, goodness me, I have supported yours.
You have.
And we are inseparable as friends. And I could not be possibly more proud of what you are accomplishing and what you are doing, for humankind with your sweetness, your expertise, your professional chef world, your travels, and of course your family.
Yes, thank you. And the same actually goes for me with you. It's kind of like a mutual admiration society, I think.
There really is. There really is. Except, folks, Maria's the real pretty one. I'm the little fat pudgy chef, but she's the real beautiful one. So
thank you so much, Cardie. So yes, Keep On Cooking, and it's nationalhomeless.org. Is that the
nationalhomeless.org?
.org.
And just look at the blog on the front page. Just click on the blog. There's a blog. You'll see it says Chef Cardie, and they're explaining what they're doing. Their first pass was for Mother's Day, which has of course just passed. They said sales were very brisk, from what I heard.
Okay.
And remember, this was my gift to them.
Yes, exactly.
I gave the nationalhomeless.org over 300 books to sell.
Wow.
And you can do the math from there.
Yes.
And they tied it into their fundraising.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you you could buy the book separately from the fundraising, but if you make a donation of $100 or something, you get a free cookbook. That kind of thing.
Exactly. No, that's great. That's great. Anything to alleviate the homeless condition in the U.S. That's great. Definitely a great cause to.
Well, Maria, the thing I'll say about that is I certainly have not become an expert. But during this pandemic, you can only imagine how bad the homeless population exploded during this pandemic.
Oh, yes, definitely.
From New York City to Philadelphia to Los Angeles to Las Vegas to New Orleans, where I learned to cook, where I went to culinary school, where I met Emeril Lagasse, who I've worked with for the past 30-something years.
Yes.
And the problem is bad. It's just a bad problem. And my cookbook isn't going to solve the problem, but it's going to help.
At least it helps. Yes, I agree. And anything, I always say, I'm not, you're one person and there's only so much you can do, but whatever it is, if you can just make a little dent, however you can do that, it's still worth it. It's still worth it because every little part that everybody does, no matter what you do, as long as it's in that direction, does help, and it does all add up in the end. So that's great. Cardie, thank you so much. And
thank you, Maria Liberati. Thank you so much. And to all your fans, please stay a fan of Maria, and please look for her new cookbook coming out on her website. Yes. As of September 2021. I can't wait to get it and read it again.
Yes, you will get, you'll get your signed copy.
I will get it. Hey, folks, I get a signed copy.
Yes,
so
you'll get your
if you want to be jealous, but I am so excited for you, Maria.
Thank you.
I absolutely adore you. And you worship as a chef and a person. I worship the ground you walk on.
Thank you, Cardie. Thank you, Cardie. Thanks so much. And again, thanks for all your support. And thank you so much. And thanks for that great book and what it's doing. And yes, everyone, go out there, if you're looking for a cookbook that makes a little bit of a difference than just purchasing a cookbook. You're purchasing a cookbook, but you're also doing some good as well. Thanks again, Cardie. I know we're going to talk to you real soon. We're going to have you back again real soon to talk
Absolutely.
about the book and see what's going on. Thanks again, Cardie. I will be talking to
Thank
you
you,
soon.
Maria.
Produce expert, Robert Schueller from Melissa's Produce. And he's going to tell us some really neat stuff about strawberries for National Strawberry Month. And don't forget, May 28th, I am having my strawberries and cream event, and you're going to get to see some of the wonderful produce from Melissa's Produce at that event. And that event is on eventbrite.com. You can register. Hey, Robert, thanks for being with us today. I know you're in sunny California. Is it sunny today?
It's a little overcast, but usually 360 days out of the year, we do have sun.
Yeah, perfect for all that delicious produce. So I know, Robert, you were going to share with us some new facts about strawberries that probably people don't realize or don't know. So tell us some stuff.
Well, strawberries is one of the most beloved fruit here in the U.S. It makes the top 10 in terms of fruit sold in the United States. Even though we are blessed in California where we have it available year-round, and actually we're in the area where it grows most predominantly. There's two states that grow it pretty much year-round, California and Florida. So most of your berries do come out of California, but during the winter months they may come out of the Florida area onto the East Coast. What's so unique about the strawberry, I mean, beyond its wonderful flavor, its red color, is the only fruit that actually has its seeds exposed. Typically, as by definition, a fruit has seeds on the inside. However, the fruit can be seen visually on the outside. It has hundreds of little seeds, but typically you really don't taste the seeds. The texture is very light on seeds. You know, the seeds are so small, just like any other berry or banana or kiwi. You don't really feel the seeds like you do in other fruits, you know, like pomegranates or whatnot. Now, there are different types of strawberries. In fact, there's hundreds of varieties, but the average American knows the strawberry just by that name, strawberry. Melissa's, the produce company I represent, is the largest provider of variety produce in the United States.
Right.
We offer berries the strawberries on a year-round basis, both conventionally and organically. Now, May is National Strawberry Month.
Yes.
This is the time where you see it more predominant, more than any other time during the year, which is during the springtime and summer, where in many summer areas in cities throughout the nation, you can find it at your local produce market.
Yes.
Also, strawberries, most people think that strawberries only come red. I mentioned there's hundreds of varieties, but lately in the springtime, we have these Japanese varieties, and they're actually white in color.
Yes, I was just going to say white. I think I've seen white somewhere. Wow, is that the only other color, white and red then?
Pink as well. Not because it's underripe, because that's another variety that is available to us. Now, those are very few and far between. However, if you're familiar with the French ones, they're called feu de bois.
Right.
Those are wild strawberries. They're very small.
Yes.
About the size of a dime or nickel.
Yes.
They come in two different colors, red and white. So,
well, I know in Italy they have fragolini. They call them fragolini, and they're the feu de bois, the French ones. They're little, and they make a wine with them. And they do all kinds of things, and they're the wild strawberries. So those are really good too. So, and they're so healthy for you, right? We forgot to mention this is a food that is delicious to eat, but also so healthy for you. So lots of vitamin C, right?
Oh, definitely vitamin A, vitamin C, potassium.
Exactly.
It would be considered a superfruit because of the and also the fact that the anthocyanin, the color of the fruit. There's not a lot of fruits that are red. There's a few berries like raspberries, and there's like tomatoes and whatnot. So it does have a lycopene which is an antioxidant,
Yes.
and one of the few fruits that are red.
Yes, I was reading just about what a superfood strawberries were. I wasn't even aware of that, so I try to put them in whatever. So for the event that I'm doing on Eventbrite, I'm actually doing a risotto with strawberries, which is really, really good with some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. It's really good, but I try and use strawberries as much as I can because they're really a superfood. So, and I'm excited about working with them and doing this event. Robert, thank you so much. Anything else you can tell us about strawberries or?
Well, the question I always get, because I'm always asked questions about produce, is
Yes.
why is it called strawberry? Well, because strawberry grows in a row crop, it grows just like a little bush.
Yeah.
Low to the ground.
Uh-huh.
So because it is a sensitive berry,
Uh-huh.
typically the growers used to lay straw on the ground, so when it gets watered, the mud wouldn't go onto the berry and make it go bad. Yeah, they typically don't grow it that way. They actually grow strawberries in a raised bed. So the berries don't hang over and fall and lay on the ground, because of course, if it gets all muddy and wet,
Right.
the strawberry will go bad, because berries, as you know, raspberries and blackberries and stuff like that, they're very sensitive fruit. You have to keep them in the cold chain. Unlike most fruits, which you would want to pick and leave out at room temperature for it to ripen up.
Right.
Berries, you have to keep the cold chain, because if you leave them out on the counter too long, within 48 or 72 hours, they will go bad really fast.
Yes, definitely. Wow, but that's really interesting. So now when they grow them, they don't grow them with the straw. That's just something from the past.
That's old school.
Yes, and strawberries are not that easy to grow. I grow a little, like I have a little farm I grow stuff, but strawberries, I just would rather go get them from you guys at Melissa's Produce, a lot easier. And I know you guys have a lot of some really delicious produce, but that's really interesting. Very interesting facts. Robert, thank you so much. And I look forward to Melissa's Produce being part of this event and some other events with your great produce. And people can look for Melissa's Produce at their favorite, I guess, supermarkets, right? All around the country, at least all around the US. That's great. So yes, and definitely get that produce. It's really healthy for you. So great. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chef Maria.
Hey,
All right.
Today is National Kitchen Remodeling Month, and we wanted to celebrate. And I know everybody, including me, always likes to know different little things, little tweaks you can do in your kitchen, little remodeling things. I'm always remodeling my kitchen, so I know everybody always has fun with that. And today, my special guest is Collin and Jimmy from the Behind the Studs podcast. And they're going to share some tips with us on things you can do, maybe some DIY things, or maybe just small things you can do. You don't have to have a multi-million-dollar overhaul to give your kitchen a little fresh uplift. So, Collin,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us. This is great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Great. Yeah. So tell us, any tips for my listeners on remodeling your kitchen, or any DIY ideas you can give us?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
don't stress out.
That's if you're doing a big project, right? Yeah.
If you're not on a program, have plenty of wine.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the first thing to get, a bottle of wine, and then you can start,
Yes.
right? Yes.
That's how I start every meal.
Yeah, I think the psychology of it all in the very beginning, right now, especially in these pandemic times, is that you have to pull your patience to the ultimate, because everyone that we've dealt with, I think, in this past year and a half has dealt with some kind of problems because of the pandemic, whether it be cabinets, run cabinets, or cabinets that are broken, or something
or
to
take
that
forever
effect.
to come in.
Right,
How about
appliances that are supposed to come
not
with
to
that.
interrupt you, I was just gonna say, I had to get, because I have a couple of, like, I have a test kitchen, a couple of kitchens. So I had to get a range.
Oh
And
my.
the range
Nope.
was not gonna come in for like 6 months. And I mean, it's
Right.
not a, fancy whatever. It's just that the big box store I was at only has a certain amount. So I was just gonna say, so yeah, we can talk about that too, I guess, not having things.
Right. Here is a great tip, because we just dealt with one this past summer,
Uh-huh,
Collin and myself, and these people were moving in from Pennsylvania,
right,
and she ordered all her appliances, and they weren't there. They just weren't there. They were back ordered. So I suggested to her,
uh-huh,
go to your local scratch and dent store.
Right.
Go to a scratch and dent. Get those temporarily. They'll come in. I mean, it was a lifesaver for her,
yeah,
and she was very happy that she had something,
yeah.
and it worked out great,
Yeah, appliances have been really difficult. Those have
Mhm.
been affected quite a bit from this pandemic.
Mhm.
Definitely, like you said, the range, but the one that I keep running into with all of my customers is dishwashers. Those seem to be the
Yeah.
most difficult to find. I mean, it's just crazy.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard even now, like electrical parts. I know an electrician, and he was telling me wiring and all that. Now it's either
Yeah.
Hmm.
really you can't find it, or it takes long to come in, or it's like 5 times the cost than it was, a while ago, because there's such a small supply.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's right up there with the chicken wings now.
Yeah.
Now it's got the ultimate.
Don't bring that up. I'm very sensitive about that.
Telling you.
I get very upset about this shortage of chicken wings.
Well,
I
it all
know.
runs parallel.
I know.
I can't get it stalled. What's the sense? You don't need it because you can't get your wings anyway.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But I heard somebody was on the news or somewhere. Of course, you can't always believe that now, but they were saying about, a lot of people in the summertime think, okay, now's a great time, I'll redo my kitchen. But they said not so fast, because you better make sure you can get everything to redo
Correct.
your kitchen. So I guess, you have to take it slow.
Yeah, I mean, kitchen cabinets, about this time last year, took about 4 to 6 weeks to come in, which is pretty standard.
Yeah.
Now we're up to about 12 to 13 weeks to
Oh.
get cabinets. So you're talking about triple the time. Building prices have gone up 300%.
Yep.
Last year this time I could get a 2x4 for $5. Now it's 11. It's just absolutely crazy, how fast it's climbing, and it just doesn't seem to be changing right now.
No.
So,
Right.
I mean, I know some of my
It's popping
customers on the
up.
larger projects are holding off. They're going to wait to spend all that kind of money and hope that the prices come back down, by spring of next year. But I'm not confident it's going to come back down that far. So
I don't,
There's been a. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think so. I agree. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing that I just run into in the last two customers that I dealt with in kitchens, because of just the prices of the cabinets and everything else. We have a couple here in Connecticut where you can, you go through the procedure, you give me measurements, give them pictures, and they'll measure them for you.
Uh-huh.
And you can also get them where they ship them to you on a pallet, but you assemble them.
Oh, okay.
Or you can hire through that company a contractor to come in, and they'll assemble them, and then they'll put them in. And sometimes that can save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars, and you still get the soft close, you still get all the bells and whistles
Right.
if you want them on the cabinets. But you save a little money if you have some carpentry skills. It's A B. Open up the box, put them together, and then you can do it yourself if you want.
Exactly. And that's a great
don't do it with your spouse.
Don't do it with your spouse.
Don't do it with your spouse. No,
Yeah,
no.
divorce city, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
not because the cabinet stuff that's out there now. It's I'm not bashing IKEA, but it's not IKEA. I mean, it's really good quality. It's the same
Right.
quality that you get if they were already made. You just have to build them.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a great idea. So that's a good way to be able to, get cabinets, save money, but you can still, and I think redoing cabinets is like one of the best ways to give your kitchen a real refresh.
I agree. And there's products out now where you don't have to take all the finishes off and sand them down and spend all that time. Now you can just paint right over them,
Yep.
with the different
I
products
was
that are
just
out
gonna
there. So
ask you, what about
Yep.
something like that where you just do that and then you replace the handles to give them an updated look?
There you go.
yeah, when you just when you think of something small that you can do to your kitchen, just
Right.
changing the hardware alone on the cabinets can make it look like a completely different kitchen.
Yes,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And I think that's an easy, definitely an easy redo that people can do if they don't want to, can't do anything else, definitely. And that's
Yep.
a great way to do it without waiting for cabinets or spending money. And sometimes, the older cabinets, because I had an older house that I got and the cabinets were real wood and, you
Yeah.
find that a lot. So I did not want to get rid of those cabinets. So we did something like that where we redid them, repainted them and the handles.
Yep.
Well, I had somebody do that, but still, I just didn't want to get rid of the real wood cabinets. It's, really difficult to find now, or it's
Right.
premium cost.
I am in the same boat that you are. I ran into that issue at home,
Yeah.
and we had more of a country kitchen,
Uh-huh.
and not like a high-end, very modern kitchen, but the
Yeah.
cabinets were country-ish, and they were
Yeah.
wood.
Uh-huh.
And she wanted to paint them, and I was like, "It's all on you. You do it. You do it." And I can't believe it. She did it, and they came out freaking great. They came out really, really good.
Uh-huh.
Like Collin was saying, there are finishes out there now, and there are bonding agents that you can do on cabinets
Right.
with a very light scuff,
Uh-huh.
and it adheres. The primer adheres very well.
Right.
And you can either use a foam if you're doing it yourself. You
Uh-huh.
can use a foam roller, which
Uh-huh.
gives you a very, very, very clean finish.
Mhm.
If you're a little bit more skilled,
Uh-huh.
I have a battery-powered spray gun.
Uh-huh.
And those work out. Those are fantastic.
a good
Those are
gun.
really, really. We talked about it on my show. Now they're made by Graco, and
Mhm.
you can get them at your brick and mortar stores, Home Depot or Lowe's carries.
So you use
um,
the spray gun to spray the cabinets?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm sure that makes it quicker too.
it makes it quicker, and you have it. It's got the tip that they give you that I have is like, wow. I mean, it's really, really nice.
Uh-huh.
I just this past weekend, I have never sprayed so much trim in all my life. I was way up in New Hampshire helping a buddy of mine,
Right.
and I had to prime it, and then I had to give it a semi-gloss finish, and I was so impressed. I was like, wow,
Really
it looked like it came out of the factory. It came out really, really good.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Well, they're definitely all great tips. Any last tip to tell people? So cabinets and redoing them yourself, that's definitely a good quick something to do. And I like definitely the note, don't stress, because I think we all do that. Don't you think that?
Right.
Yeah.
I do the same thing when you look at a kitchen. It's like all of a sudden you want to do, you want to knock a wall down and do all this crazy stuff. And then it's like, wait a minute, have to step back and kind of
Yeah.
pull back. And it's like, okay, let's take it a little bit at a time. So I think people sometimes overly stress, I guess.
Yes, they do. But a couple other tips too that I just want to make sure
Yes.
your listeners are know of. Another thing you can do is definitely replace the kitchen faucet. That can make it look a lot nicer. There's a lot of nicer, more modern looking, faucets out there, not the traditional ones that a lot of people have, from many years ago. And also definitely a tile backsplash. If you can, if you know how to do tile work, if not, you can hire somebody to do it. It's reasonably priced, and unless you get really crazy with the backsplash, the tile that you pick out, I mean, it should be, something you can get for about $10 or $12 a square foot.
Right.
So
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's great. Definitely good ways. And I think they have I've seen some kind of, maybe I'm wrong, but don't they have something that kind of sticks on now? That
they do.
really easy, like these squares. So,
Yes. Yep. They sell those now. Yep.
I'm not sold on those.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sold on them.
I haven't really, I just remember going past those when I've gone into one of the big box
Right.
stores. So I'm not really familiar with, okay. So,
That could end up as another form of terrorism because you could put that on and then you go, oh, I don't think I want it right there. Well, sorry.
exactly. Or it could drop. You could find it in your soup, right? If you-
Yeah.
Oh my God! Could
Right,
you
yeah.
imagine? Yeah, having a party and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
pop, falls right off. Great. Well, what are we having today? We're having shrimp with GAF.
Yeah.
The last thing that I think that one of the hurdles that the wives feel in the kitchen
Yeah.
is the color. If they're going to change the color in the kitchen, if they some just change the cabinet doors,
Right.
or they may want to just brighten the room up. If they get new cabinets or cabinet doors and they're going to change the color, they
Right.
get really it can be very frustrating because their countertop, their cabinet, they want to get something that's going to be neutral
Right.
to both.
Uh,
So what I tell the customers is this, like this kitchen that we're doing now,
uh-huh.
there's a north side and the south side. She got windows on both sides of the house.
Uh-huh.
I said, that's wonderful. 2 coats on that wall, 2 coats on that wall. And I guarantee you after they dry, it's going to look like 2 different colors. And she came back. She goes, oh my God, I came in here this morning. It was much lighter. Look at it now. I said, yeah, it was the same color. It doesn't, it's not that special stuff. It's just the way it is. It's the way the light's hitting it, look at it when you're on a gloomy day, how much different it's going to be.
Yeah.
And sit with it. I tell them, you don't have to make a decision in a day. Sit with it for a while and see if you really, really like it.
And there's so many colors today too. I mean, they
pick a
just
white.
keep adding these names and these shades, and I'm baffled by the whole thing.
Go ahead,
Actually,
pick a white.
Yeah,
Just any white. Put a white up on the wall.
my wife would
Really?
be like, "Which color do you like? This one or this one?" I go, "They're the same."
The
She's
same
like, no,
one.
they're not. I'm like, "Yeah,
How
they
do
are."
you guys tell this? I can see they hit the green. There's a little yellow.
Nope.
No, it's white to me.
Yep.
Next.
Crazy.
Gosh, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Collin and Jimmy, thank you so much for sharing that. And, definitely because everybody's always remodeling not only their kitchen, but their home. So we want to make sure that my listeners check out your podcast, Behind the Studs. I love that name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
People get a little upset. People get a little disappointed when they see us because they're thinking,
Yeah, is this gonna be on video?
yeah,
I'm
right.
not sure I did my hair.
That's the studs. No, it's the
No.
show, the studs. We're not
Right,
the
that's not
studs.
the studs. Yeah.
We're not studs.
The studs behind the guys.
That's
Yeah.
it.
We got that straight. You're not studs. It's
Right,
No,
thank you.
we're not,
Thank
not
you.
at all.
remodeling. So people are
Right.
gonna be disappointed, but
Yes, we're
we have a
very
lot of
serious.
Great remodeling tips. So great, Collin and Jimmy. thank
Yeah,
you
we do
so
work with our
much.
shirts on.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's the other thing. So I don't want you to be disappointed, but they do work
Right.
with shirts on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
right.
cook with your shirt on too.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we all do.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thanks
guys.
for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Collin and Jimmy from
You're welcome.
the Studs podcast. We'll be checking you out again. I'm sure we'll invite you to be a guest again. Thanks
Excellent.
again. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. This is Maria Liberati, and if you have any photos of recipes that you're making with strawberries or anything we discussed on this week's episode, please take a picture, hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, and share it, and you'll be entered in a drawing for a giveaway. We're giving away copies of my books and also some really neat gifts from some of my sponsors. So don't forget, share a picture, hashtag the Maria Liberati Show, share an episode, like an episode, and you'll be entered into our giveaway. I'd like to also thank for this week's segment my producer Britton Roselle, my production intern Alexandra Troy, and this week's guest, let's see, I had on Robert Schueller, produce guru from Melissa's Produce, Cardie Mortimer, executive chef and author Cardie Mortimer, and Collin and Jimmy from Behind the Studs podcast. And for more recipes and tips and culinary stories and culinary memoirs, you can find those in my Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, and that's made up of 3 in this series right now. The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Holidays and Special Occasions, and The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Da Vinci Style. And then there is the coffee table book series, The Basic Art of, which is The Basic Art of Coffee, The Basic Art of Cocktails, The Basic Art of Christmas Dinner, The Basic Art of Experiencing Venice, The Basic Art of Creating a Tuscan Wedding, The Basic Art of Pasta, and The Basic Art of Pizza. And you can find all of those books at marialiberati.com, artoflivingprimamedia.com, and anywhere books are sold online. I appreciate your support and supporting my book series. It allows me to do all these wonderful things, my podcast especially. And please join me for my fun cook-along, virtual cook-along on May 28th from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a strawberries and cream event sponsored by Melissa's Produce. We're going to be using some delicious strawberries from Melissa's Produce and doing some recipes with strawberries because of May being National Strawberry Month. So please join me. Register. You have to register. Register on eventbrite.com for this event. And again, you can find me at marialiberati.com, on Twitter at Maria Liberati with a capital M for Maria, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on LinkedIn at M Liberati. And until next time, peace, love, and pasta.